Speedy Signs in Kingsland brings you Saturday Morning Sports with Wes.
Saturday Morning Sport, you're back with Wizza, and we're here with Shubz. I'm just pivoting again, Shubz. We're just talking about the Nations Championship. What's your thoughts on it?
Hey, also, just quickly, before we do, I know we just talked about MMA before, and something I did want to talk to you about last night before you went and put your boob tube on for the Otara Scorpions. I wanted to touch base on the whole Israel Adesanya thing, the fact that he's leaving City Kickboxing. He had a Korero, he had a yarn with Eugene Behrman back in May, telling him he won't be coming back to CKB. And then I heard Dan Hooker tap into it, obviously a teammate of his. And Dan Hooker said, well, Israel's been on a 5 or 6 fight, whatever it is now, 5-fight skid, 5-fight losing streak. And, this is just what fighters do. Sometimes they change gyms and that. A lot of people believe it's, to do with him and Carlos. Obviously, he hasn't been that supportive of Carlos when Carlos won the title and other things. But, hey, sad to see, I think, Izzy part with CKB. I mean, he helped, along with Eugene and the rest of the fighters, put that gym on the map as one of the greatest in the whole world.
Absolutely right. You're right. Yeah, it's a bit sad. And good on Dan Hooker to come out and and just give a different sort of shut down the narrative that there's some bad blood happening. And I think that just happens. Sometimes that maybe. Yeah, like boxers too, like Joseph Parker, right? He had to switch coaches, and then he got some success after he switched to another coach. And I think that just happens in that sport. Sometimes you're just looking.
It doesn't mean that they're bad either. It doesn't mean that it just means sometimes things aren't working anymore, and that's okay, and to switch it up. But yeah, going on to the Nations Championship, I thought it was awesome to be able to watch rugby where it actually meant something. I think for years we've had every 4 years we've got the World Cup. But in between, they hadn't had anything else really, unless you got like a Lions tour, which, the 3 countries that get them, South Africa, Australia and New Zealand, we only got them every 12 years. So there was nothing really going. Yeah, we had the Rugby Championship and the Tri-Nations before that. But it was sort of boring. Now, every, 17 tests, and every test, if you lose 1 or 2, you're sort of out of it, So, but what it does is it makes everyone want to play a bit harder. I feel like a lot of times those European teams will come down here at the end of their season, and they just put out stink teams, and half their best teams don't always come, or they just they look a bit tired. Now they're actually playing hard. I mean, the French were close to beat the All Blacks on the weekend, and the Irish and Aussie went very close. Obviously, South Africa pumped England after all the banter that England was saying they were going to go to South Africa and show them who the boss was. No good over there. But even the Japanese getting over the Italians.
Yeah, no, you're right. So it's exciting. I'm excited too, because I didn't really get a watch until like last weekend, and then even tomorrow you got England against Fiji, right? So it's definitely got my interest back in the sport, and especially international rugby. And this I think that's the last sort of frontier that rugby has over a league, is that they've got so many.
You're exactly right. The rugby league is winning on all fronts in terms of spectator-wise. Yeah. It's just a way more palatable sport. Everything's always moving, and I know rugby's adopted a lot of leagues. Like these dropouts and these shot clock things, and even they've got that, the 40, whatever, the 50-22 or whatever it's called. That thing.
Yep.
Even all of that stuff, But I think the eyeballs, besides the World Cup every 4 years, the international game was sort of dying too, in a sense, besides the World Cup. Now it's brought some life back into it. I mean, I think it's brought rugby back into, a lot of more people's eyes,
Yep. No, 100%. Final thoughts, Shubz. We just got a little bit over time, so final thoughts?
Final thoughts, up to All Blacks. Up the Waz, and we'll see you there for Reo Aotearoa in Sydney in October. Let's go to Grand Final.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. You're with Saturday Morning Sport with Wezza.
You're with Saturday Morning Sport with Wezza here on Radio Aotearoa.
Radio Aotearoa, keeping it Kiwi.
No, listen, no, seriously. No, shut up, listen.
Keeping it Kiwi.
Radio Aotearoa.
The Law Court Hotel stands accused of possessing and distributing a wildly meaty deal.